All right, what up, everybody? How are y'all doing today? Once again, if you don't know who I am, my name is RJ. Today, we're going to be talking about Hermetic alchemy, as always. So, I wanted to share a couple things. I have this retreat in Sedona that's happening September 12th through the 19th. It's going to be a really, really amazing, beautiful retreat. So, if you've been looking into Hermetics and alchemy and want to develop yourself, I know a lot of us are still going through this awakening stage. If you want to understand metaphysically the best way to develop yourself and how to stay away from all the weirdness and interesting things that's out there, this is what we are doing this for. What up, Jade? What up, Dr. Earl? How you guys doing? I'm in beautiful little Tokyo right now, and just wanted to touch down with everybody, share a couple things that I have going on. It's a very, very beautiful time to be out here. We're just going through the new moon, and for everybody, it's very important that you take this time to look at the things you want to change within yourself, because it's very easy to do that. For everybody that's in the course, what can help you make deeper levels of change within your experiences, demagnetizing your mental and astral matrix, or neutralizing it. And you can do this through simple, vital breathing, astral breathing, and just tuning in to the concept idea of demagnetizing and letting go of the things that don't serve you. And thank you for the grain. and it works very, very well, very, very well. The powerful thing about the new moon is, like I said, you can inflict really deep levels of change on every level, and the goal is to synchronize every level from there. So you can, as the moon begins to become fuller and fuller, and your mental and astral matrix becomes thicker and thicker, and the energy that you're building becomes stronger, you can take greater advantage of it. But now is a really good time to look at those changes, set your intentions, right? If you're in any magical tradition, start building up those energies and watch how they begin to manifest through your experience. I just recorded a video, and I'm going to post it in the Kabbalah group, right? So one of the things to look at as we're working with different frequencies, not just the Kabbalistic letters, but any frequency that you're building, right? Um, Understanding how it's affecting you, right? And really looking at how these energies, how some of them will feel really, really easy to work with. You'll get really high level outcomes. It'll be really, really blissful. You might have rapture experiences. Things will start to synchronize on a really, really, like, really, really high level. And then what up, Marivelis? And then other frequencies and then Kabbalistic letters you begin to work with, you'll get a ton of resistance. You'll get chaos coming up into your experience. You'll get, even when you're working with the frequency, it'll be a type of discomfort that comes up, and you lose mindfulness. Those are the ones that you need to work on the most. And it's funny, Jay, you're in here. Remember, we were going through the planetary spheres, and we worked with Uranus one day, one week, and then the next week we did like Pluto. And one of them, you're like, "Oh my God, this feels amazing, right?" And I was like, "Man, this feels like crap." This makes me feel really, really uncomfortable, right? And then the next week it was the opposite. Oh, we went into, I think it might have been, I might have did Uranus. Oh my God, this is amazing, right? And then he was like, it feels really uncomfortable. And then next week is vice versa. So we'll have these different effects, and everybody will be affected by it differently. So being mindful of the ones that you have the most resistance towards, that those are the ones that you need to dissolve, and you need to work with the most, because we're equalizing with all these different universal frequencies. We're equalizing with all these different aspects of creation. The ones that are really easy, you don't have a lot of resistance towards, so it's easy to work with those. And you know, you should work with them. But the ones that you need to work with the most are going to be the ones that bring you discomfort, the ones that stir up negative feelings, the ones that bring up, negative habits and stuff like that. Because, those things that come up to the surface, that's the conflict. That's within your being. Those are the lower energies that's trying to essentially, fight to survive. So being aware of this is very, 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 very important. And as we go through the rest of the Kabbalistic letters, you'll get a huge, sensitivity to this on a much deeper level. you know, and Like I said, some of them they'll be super duper cool. Oh my god, this is amazing! It feels really really beautiful. Other ones be like, I can't. I keep twitching. I keep moving. Something in me is like, no, this don't feel good. And that's what you need to work on the most. And most people are going to gravitate towards working with the easy stuff and kind of negating some of the things that actually need work. But I can um, most definitely agree with the aspect that that's what you need to work on, the ones that are uncomfortable, because that's where all the growth is going to come from. If you're only doing stuff that's super peaceful and stuff, that's how you easily put yourself in a plateau. But when you move to the ones that aren't so easy, that's where you get all the aha moments and epiphanies, because those are the ones that you need to adapt to and to equalize with. I'm kind of far away from my phone, so I see Maribel says something. It says the goal is the goal to flow in the resistance, to shift the nature of the relationship. So the primary goal is like you're equalizing with it. So that's the best way that I could possibly explain it, is adaptation and equalization with the specific frequency that you're working on, or the specific Kabbalistic letter that we're working on. And it's the more you pay attention to it, to bring it into quietude. It's not so much you have to live through the chaos that it brings up or anything like that. It's literally allowing your mind to pay attention to that specific frequency. When you can develop samadhi on it and single pointed concentration, and allow your mind to literally vibrationally match it and bring it into stillness, that is what allows you to have all the aha moments and epiphanies. Because once you equalize, you're there. In order to, whatever the mind pays attention to, continue to pay attention to it. And just the physics of it, your mind literally has to raise up above it to make sense of it. And once you get that equalization just through your everyday experience, because you're now equalized with it, you'll see it. It'll just literally just click and make sense. Oh wow, that's how that works. Oh wow, all the aha moments and epiphanies will start to stir up and start to be a bigger part of your psyche. So it's more so that, not so much, oh, I gotta, all this negative stuff is coming up in my experience, I gotta work through it or whatever. And yes, those things will come up, but you'll be able to understand it and to navigate through it with much more ease, because that conflict and resistance that you have within your psyche and within your being is no longer there. It's equal. You're equalized with it. And like I said, this is something that you can verbalize. It's not super hard to verbalize, but the best way is it's a type of adaptation. And then once you adapt it, you can see it. It's so funny, guys. I was talking to Dr. Earl about this. So um, my girl's son. He was going through some stuff or whatever. We had this conversation with him a couple of days ago, and I was telling him, I'm really proud of who you are now, and where you're at, and I can see the trajectory of where you're going, because at one point in time, you were a menace to everybody. Nobody in the family was like, messing with you, but he was going through some stuff and he couldn't see it. But just through adaptation and just equalizing with those different things, naturally you begin to grow beyond it and then kind of understand it. And even when we had the conversation, he's like, oh, wow, yeah, I can see that. I can see how, I was going through some stuff and this is what was happening, and he didn't really put his mind on it to say, you know, oh, I was this really crappy person back then or whatever, but he was able to look at it because he equalized with that level and then move beyond it. I'm not sure how good that that example is, but y'all get what I'm saying. And if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns about any of this, by all means, share. I know a lot of people are doing, all types of different practices and stuff, especially as more and more people are awakening and becoming aware and, looking into different systems and stuff like that. It's important to have a complete system and to understand the metaphysics of what you're doing. Because if you don't, and you're just taking bits of things from here and bits of things from there, then you won't fully be able to grasp it or understand the entire path and how to equalize and to get the most benefit out of your own personal path. And if you're interested, this is one of the things that I do. I teach a whole course on self mastery and psychic development and ascension. So, you start from the ground up Wherever you're at, you just begin to move up to the next level. And it's really, really beautiful. This is the science of ascension. And it's a really, really, really beautiful path. And it's relative to your own path. None of this is like, be like me, you have to be this type of person or anything like that, because most spiritual systems, most religions, most people that share and stuff out there, a lot of it is personified. A lot of it is like, you have to be this specific type of person and stuff like that, and it doesn't even match, metaphysically, the universal laws of how creation works. It's all, this cultural thing, or this aspect that's projected through society. So being able to look at this and to understand these concepts and to look at it in a universal level, you become who you want to be. This whole idea and concept, especially you know in the beginning levels, this kind of makes sense, right? So they have this idea of, of you have to be really humble, and have a ton of humility. And yes, in the beginning, because you need to learn. If you're this horrible person and have no humility, oh, thank you for the subscription. If you're this horrible person with no humility, then yeah, you need to be more humble or whatever, in order for you to say, oh, I don't know it all. I need to look at my stuff. But it's a certain level in which, if you are more equalized and more towards those non-dual layers or whatever, you don't necessarily have to be humble, because even the idea and concept of humble, we kind of talked about this for a couple different concepts and stuff. It's like the same thing of being lazy. Laziness is not a real thing. Laziness is a projection of what somebody else believes you should be doing with your time and energy, not what you are actually doing. So even with the type of humility and stuff that comes with it, people may not understand why you're the way you are. You shouldn't have to make yourself small, to please other people. But there's levels to it. There's levels to it. It's very, very prevalent in like spiritual teachings and religions and stuff like that, for people to kind of put themselves into a box too. You got to be poor. You got to, do this and that. You can't be this type of person and that type of person. And that's simply not true. You become the person who you want to be. You can have the highest outcome. Some of the most enlightened people on the face of this planet, you would never know by looking at them. It says, please, love and blessings. Indeed. Oh, awesome. Yeah, love and blessings to everybody. Thank you. Um, so this is one of the things that I really, really want to, dive deep into and kind of talk about, is because, like I said, your path is your path. You know, being enlightened doesn't mean, oh, I'm this type of person, or I have to carry myself in this particular type of way, or portray myself, or wear this type of clothing and stuff like that, or whatever. That's consumerism. That's capitalism. A lot of what's out there in the realms of spiritual growth and practice is completely wrapped in capitalism, and how people can get the most money out of you. And it's this image and thing that's no different than trying to live up to an image in society. So your own personal path don't look like nothing. It don't look like everybody else's. What you're here to do and how you navigate through your journey is completely unique to you. And so don't let somebody project onto you how you should be in your spiritual path and what you should experience and how you should navigate, because it's completely unique to you. The higher part of you, the God self, the higher self, your intuition is always guiding you, and it won't be the same as everybody else's. I was talking to Soul. What up, Soul? And you know, we always have these conversations, and she'll be like, "Well, what do you think about this?" Or I'm like, "Follow your intuition," because my perspective, from my viewpoint, this is what I would do, but follow yours, because how it affects me is completely different than how it affects you. So, as intuitive as I am, as psychic as I am, from everything else, it doesn't matter. Your path is your path, and the way that you should relate to it and navigate through it will be so far outside the realm of the way that I relate to it and how I would navigate through it. So always listen to yourself, no matter where you're at. You need building those bridges of trust and understanding between the higher part of your psyche, the observing mind, the God self, always. Now, yes, you can get opinions from other people. It's really good to get different perspectives, but that higher part of you, the more you can tune into it, that's the goal. That's the most liberating thing you can do, is allow your intuition to function, you know, and we're building bridges to get there. And like I said, your path is completely unique to you. It says, I parent that way. Yeah. And that's how that's listen, we mess up our children's lives so much by trying to project, this is how you need to do it, this is how you need to be, you need to be the person I want you to be, you need to follow my path or whatever it is or whatever. And that's how you screw your children up, because then they build up self-doubt and everything else, and everything. Like, of course there's a level of guidance, but there's also this fire element aspect of wanting to control everything. Our kids are not our kids. They are also sovereign beings. We are here to help guide them and to teach them. But we're not here to control them and say, this is what you most definitely need to do outside of who you naturally are. Because as we all know, those of you that are even more aware, is that you don't get fulfillment by fulfilling other people's projections and their dreams. You get fulfillment by, this is who I naturally am, and these are the things I naturally want to do and experience. And there's levels to it, especially when they're super young. Instilling that is the most beautiful thing you could possibly do. Now, kids are really malleable, and there's a lot of weird stuff coming from academia and from society and stuff like that. So, of course, common sense. They're pushing all types of weird stuff out there or whatever that you don't necessarily have to subscribe to. And as long as you know you can see your children for who they are and allow them to express that, it's important, for them to have that full expression, and feel able to be completely authentic with their self, because that's the goal. That's our magic, is being able to express that. And it doesn't look like people's idea of what it should be, and I mean that. Even like, and this is the primary reason I'm sharing this, because people have this idea, concept of what it means to be spiritual, or what it means to be, enlightened and stuff like that. And most people have no clue what it means. I mean that. They have no clue whatsoever. And I find it really interesting because, I go to all types of places. I travel, I go to a bunch of sacred places where there's all types of psychics, and go to temples and churches and stuff like that. And people look at me, and I start talking. They're like, who the hell are you? Because they wouldn't expect it, because I don't look like the stereotypical I don't even want to say it, because I don't look like, all the people that are, shroomed out, you got to do this, you got to do that, and the man bun, the stereotypical, capitalism, drugged out spiritual person that you see all over the internet and stuff like that. I'm not that. I'm me. And like I said, I know who I am, where I am. And like I said, this is what I do. I've spent years of my life completely, dwelling in the realms of self mastery and spiritual development, and understanding it on a metaphysical level. And, you know, it's been a blessing to meet as many people who I've met in many beautiful places and stuff. But so many people look at me and they're like, "Wow, wow," because I don't fit their concept and idea of what it means to be a sifu or a guru on any particular topic. And I know all types of stuff about all types of things, but you know it don't look like anything to be a ascended master, to be an enlightened being or anything. It don't look like anything. You don't have to have a bunch of crystals and a bunch of all this other stuff. It don't look like anything. Most of that is capitalism, or a projection of certain concepts and ideas. So you don't have to live up to that either. You don't have to fit that mold either. You don't have to say, "Oh, I do sound bowls every week with the crew, and we're doing Aya ceremonies and all this." You ain't gotta do all that. You ain't gotta look like that. You ain't gotta walk around looking like Dr. Quinn, medicine woman. And no shade to the ones that do. For everybody that's been in Sedona, y'all know what I'm talking about. You ain't gotta be Dr. Quinn, And most of those people, literally are some of the most judgmental, Lord, like, like I said, but being spiritual don't mean nothing. Demons are spirits too. You can be in the demon realm and be like, oh my God, I'm all love and light. So it don't look like anything. So don't feel that you have to portray that. Do what brings you fulfillment, you know, and always continue to work your way up. And a lot of people, most people won't tell you this. Most people will be like, oh, this, you have to be this way. You got to be that. You got to, yes, there's qualities you must cultivate. But even within those qualities, they don't look like anything particular. Doesn't. Your expression of universal love or meta loving kindness is completely different than my expression of it, even though we're tuning in even the peak frequencies, the way that I do it through who and what I am and my perspectives of self is going to be completely different than the way that you express it. So don't look like anything. So don't feel like you need to look a certain way or be a certain way. Is yes, we are unique. Yeah, and then most definitely, appreciate that. Enjoy your uniqueness because that's what makes you you. Never give that away. And people go through different traumas and stuff like that. And I've been talking to my girl a lot because she works with a lot of different women and stuff who's been in like domestic violence situations and stuff like that. So they kind of shun away from their uniqueness and kind of lose their self. Because they're with some asshole that doesn't appreciate them and treats them bad, so they kind of shun away from that and build negative habits and a negative self image. But it's very important that you're able to look and say, who am I? What am I? And to build a deeper level of self love and give that expression. Know thyself. Really get to know yourself. I know when I was in a horrible marriage, I started to lose myself too, and my self image was most definitely not what it is now. And it took me a lot of getting to know myself, to truly know myself, to give myself full expression, and to kind of shed away and to purify and alchemize all these other concepts and ideas and projections that I were holding on to that kind of stopped me from seeing myself and from knowing who I am and what I want out of life and how I want to navigate through life. So it's important for you to seek that always. And one of the most important things when it comes to this is no matter where you're at, even if you're in a relationship, even if you're no matter what, don't let anybody take that from you. I mean that. Nobody, especially if you're in a relationship. Because if that person truly loves you, they're not going to want to put you in a box. They're not going to want to dim your light. And if you're in a relationship like that, you should get out. And I mean that straight like that. If you're in any type of relationship and that person doesn't appreciate you for who and what you are, and you don't feel safe to fully be your true authentic self, then you should not be in it. Because that's not what a relationship is. That's not a healthy relationship, you know and you can do it. You can do it. And that's the thing. We kind of talk about working with different frequencies and equalizing with it and that discomfort and stuff like that. If you feel kind of uncomfortable, that's that part of you that's seeking to express itself. So you can give yourself true expression. If you feel like something's holding you back or holding you down, then by all means, do it. You know, you'll be happier, the other person be happier. Believe it or not. But it's getting past that fear and that discomfort, that gives you the liberation. We talked about this in the Zoom meeting yesterday. Anytime that I faced any type of fear, it's literally like the universe's way of making sure that you're ready to take on the next level. And every time I've ever done it, I've had the most profound, beautiful experiences. And I mean that. Every single time I broke that barrier of fear, what followed it was something so far outside of my frame of reference and expectation. And it's beautiful. So always be willing to face your fears. Always be willing to, step beyond those boundaries because that's your box. That's your box. And fear is not real. Fear is literally a projection of something that's seeking to survive within you, you know. So, like I said, any relationships, any job that you're in that's not bringing you fulfillment, your spirit's always guiding you through this. Always. There's always a part of you like, no, we shouldn't be here. Oh, we need to do that. Oh, we need to speak up. We need to do this or that. Listen to it. Why would you listen to anything else above that? So this is where once again, the self-love, self-image, self-trust, comes into play. And always follow it no matter where you're at, because that higher part of you is always guiding you. and you're raising up into higher levels of guidance. That's what ascension is. So your set level of consciousness is being guided by the levels above it, and you just move up until your set level becomes here, and then the higher part begins to guide you up here, and then that higher part up there. That's what ascension is. And you raise up and evolve through your experience. And a lot of people stop their evolution, and I mean that. We're always evolving. That's the nature of the universe, is to always evolve. And if you're not evolving, there's always going to be a part of you that's like, I'm missing something, you know, and because you are. And like I said, fear is what keeps us from that, and once again, that's like the door into your next step of evolution. So always be willing to face those fears, always be willing to look at what's keeping me in a box and how can I transcend this. And it doesn't have to be hard. This is one of the keys. It does not have to be hard. A lot of people take on the concept and the idea that, developing yourself has to be hard. Evolving has to be hard. In order for me to get the lessons of life, it has to be. And this is simply not true. But if you take it on as a truth, that's what you're going to experience. That's what's going to happen to you, because you just simply surrender to that. You give that expression. The astral is a belief based thing. So whatever you take on as a belief, that's what you get, whether it's real, whether it's a delusion, no matter what. So building healthy habits and healthy perspectives and perceptions, developing myself is fun. It's easy. Everything seen and unseen is working towards my good, for me to be in the right place and right time, and for me to evolve and grow with ease and with grace. And that simple change in psychology will change your whole life. It does not have to be a struggle. It does not have to be filled with conflict. It doesn't have to be all these different things. The essence of your spirit is one with all. It's infinite intelligence, God, whatever your concept of it is, but you are it. And what you say goes. And that's what you get. So make sure it's working for you and not against you. Make sure that you're liberating yourself and not limiting yourself. you know it says I meditate and it's fun. Yeah, it should be fun to develop yourself. It should be fun to develop higher levels of concentration. It should be fun to liberate yourself. Who doesn't want more freedom, more liberation? It should be fun to make money. It should be fun to follow your path and be authentically you. And the more that you can, wrap your head around these concepts and ideas and really like embrace it and live it, that's what you get. you know but normal people can't see it, and this is where all the spiritual practices and stuff come into play, because you're changing your relationship with yourself. You're changing your relationship with your environment, with the universe, with the people around you, with God, with nature, right? And we're building these bridges of understanding so we can ascend. And you have to go through those experiences so you can get to know it firsthand, because you can't just think your way through it. You can't just go to somebody that's depressed. Oh, just feel better. you know you can't just be like, oh, you just got to think different and then it works. No. But the moment you're able to embrace it and have openness to experiencing something different, then it kind of comes, so you can go through the experience, you begin to equalize it so you can raise up above that level in which you're in. And that's the key, is having that openness. And one of the quickest and easiest ways to do this is through prayer. And I'm a huge proponent for prayer, but most people don't understand what prayer is. Remember, prayer is a state of being. It's literally a state of meditation. It's your quickest doorway into equanimity. And it's the same results you get from meditation you get from prayer. The difference with going into prayer, as opposed to just practicing hardcore meditation, is hardcore meditation, it can take you decades to develop equanimity. In order for you to focus your mind, boom, in order to develop a high level of either vipassana or samadhi, primarily both, and then tell the astral body and astral emotions to be quiet through equanimity and concentration. It takes a very long time to do that. Or you can go into prayer and everything just shuts up. The static in your mind disappears. The static in your astral body disappears. Your physical body becomes still. And it's your quickest doorway to it. Everything just submits to that higher part of your mind. And it's very easy for you to move through and navigate through where you want to be through that. So like I said, it says, he says, not with Kriya, says manifest. So like I said, practicing prayer, and there's different frequencies and stuff you can invoke from prayer, but developing a really deep sense of sacredness within your path, within your spiritual practice, within your growth. It should be the most sacred thing to you. I mean that. And the more you can engage that, the easier it is for you to cross those bridges and to grow and evolve, because everything is going to submit to where you want to go. It says Kriya Yoga, check it out. It's scientific. I mean, all yoga is it's the science of the mind. It's the science of literally the spirit, and different methods and rituals and stuff to develop yourself and develop the relationship between you and your spirit. Yoga literally means union. Union with what? The universal mind. It's what yoga is, and it's different concepts, different ideas, different types of yoga. It's very important that, if you're into yoga, that you practice, go into the different types. Don't just do one, because each one is has a specific outcome, a specific thing that you're training, and certain ones will help you in one place. Some people will do something and be like, oh, I do this one type of yoga and I just know it all, and then whatever. But once again, looking at a whole system of things, because they all have different outcomes, different goals, and like I said, it's a thing. But most people on the outside looking in, they don't understand it. They can't see the causation chain. They can't see, oh wow, this is how this works. Some people be like, oh, you're just stretching. Those that do typical yoga, right? But it's not that. It's not. That's not what it is at all. But once again, your relationship to all these things matter, and your intention as you go into it matters. How sacred you hold these things that you're engaging matters, because it affects your reality, your psyche, your relationships, your karmic stream to a really deep level. Really deep level. So thank you for sharing your prayers on TikTok. They're powerful and life changing. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm going to share some more too. I might record one while I'm here. Scenery's kind of cool, but it's about to be a lot of people here, so I decided to take this time when there's not too many people walking around. Or I'm probably going to go to the temple down the street and then and record one too. Says, where are you, RJ? I am in Little Tokyo. So yeah, for anybody that wants to learn more, right? And if you're interested, like I teach this whole course on psychic development and then ascension, hermetic alchemy, hermetic magic, and it's available for anybody to join. You get year-long access to all the content, to the Zoom meetings. We have different video libraries. There's hundreds of different videos where step by step, this is how you develop yourself, and you are following your own path. You're developing your intuition, you're developing your intuitive mind, so you can become your own teacher. And it's beautiful. We have a beautiful community. A lot of them are in here. What up, everybody? So check out the link in the bio if you're interested. Right now we're going through the Master Key Psychic Ascension course, where you get access to level 1 mastering the elements, level 2 psychic development, the Master Key sessions, and all the meditations and everything else. And it's beautiful. One of the most beautiful things too within this is we're doing all the different energy work. Now, the energy work aspect is cool, because this is what allows you to equalize with each level of consciousness. So once you equalize with it, bring it in stillness and develop that relationship, you're developing mental spiritual strength, and your ability to see causation chains and to literally develop your intuitive psychic senses come online very, 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 very quickly. And that's the goal. That's the most liberating thing you could possibly do for yourself. And this is one of the quickest ways that you can get to understand universal laws or dharma. And you literally have to be highly intuitive to understand it. There's no way that you can other than that, you know. Um, so it's like looking at, Buddhism or even Hinduism, any universal system. If you're not highly intuitive, it's not going to make sense to you. It's not, it'll just confuse you. You won't be able to see, oh wow, this is what this truly means or whatever. Because it's funny, I was thinking about who was it, Ronald Reagan, that went to Tibet, and then he went back to America. He was like, oh, they're worshiping demons and stuff like that. And that's not what it is at all. It's not what it is at all. And then the outside looking in, yeah, you may see, the iconography and everything else, and it may be intimidating, but it's because people don't have the intuitive and intellectual bridges to see it for what it is, and what is literal quantum physics. It's literally understanding universal law and using imagery and the imagining faculties and quantum physics in order to produce different outcomes within your psyche and within your experience. It's highly intelligent, but you have to also be highly intuitive to fully get it and grasp it and to understand how it functions. Talked about this yesterday in the Zoom meeting. There's, whole Buddhist temples out there and Buddhist religions and stuff that don't get it, that don't fully get it. They get some of it, but it's books that you can read that literally, that people have written multiple books on Buddhism and self development and stuff like that, and really don't get it on an intellectual level. They may understand it to a certain degree, but on the totality of what it is, no, not at all, because it's not a product of the intellect. You have to be highly intuitive, and that's why I teach what I teach and share what I share, so you can develop that aspect of yourself. So when you put your mind on something, oh wow, this is what this means. Developing the insight mind, so you have direct insight into what it is that you're dealing with and what you're looking at, and that's how you grow. You know, tapping into universal consciousness and understanding what that is, having universal mind experiences. It's so funny because I watched Interstellar last night for the first time, and for those of you that seen it, right, when he was in the higher dimensions where time was a physical construct, right? And he was communicating with his daughter, and she thought it was a ghost when they was younger, but it was really him. It's pretty much that same type of concept. In life, we have this higher part of us that's you, a different plane of your consciousness, which is literally guiding you. You are all of it. The essence of your spirit is literally God. But developing those levels of understanding and experiences and how you are influencing your experience through time and space, through correct practice, through building those bridges of connection and understanding. It's directly related to what they were conveying in there. And I mean that. And a lot of people are like, oh, there's, ETs and this and that or whatever. And it's all us. It's all you. At the very top of the food chain is you, which is also me. You know, the essence of your spirit is it's literally, a vibrational match to the universal mind. And all these different systems are ways to help you raise up that vibrational scale to build a different level of connection. And to grow from there. That higher part of you is always guiding you. So everything that we do within the course, okay, how do we tap into that? How do we equalize with it so we can raise up to our level of understanding and perspective? So if you want to learn more, if you would like to join, check out the link in the bio. If you use the promo code MOON, I think you get like 50% off. It's really, really beautiful. Once again, you get instant access to like hundreds of videos. You start from level one, do the first 12 to 15 videos. The first videos are kind of short. They're like a couple minutes long each. But follow that, set the foundation. Once you set the foundation, everything just grows and evolves like really, really quick because you're learning how to influence your subconscious mind. That's what magic and alchemy is. Alchemy is transforming energies. Magic is using those energies to imprint your subconscious, all the rituals and spells and stuff like that. How can we get the subconscious mind, right? The spiritual aspects of ourselves, because that's what the subconscious mind is. How can we get the subconscious mind to go along with this idea, to give me this experience? Because whatever you take on subconsciously, that's what you're going to get. And it can always work for you, it can always work against you, so the more you begin to understand that, the more magical your experience becomes, literally, because life is infinite. It's magical, and your subconscious can help you reach really high levels of awareness and consciousness, or it can keep you in a box. So this is what we're developing to a very, very high degree, to the point where you become your own teacher. So if you're interested, check out the link in the bio. If you have questions, you can shoot me a message. For those of you that's here too, follow me on Instagram. You can message me on Instagram too. There's payment plans. Next month, September 12th to the 19th, we're going to be in Sedona, Arizona. We're doing the initiation into Hermetics retreat. That's going to be absolutely amazing. We're having 5.5 days of the straight practice, 4 or 5 hours of practice where, how do you develop equanimity? How do you develop higher levels of samadhi, vipassana? How do you develop really high levels of mental transference, expansion of consciousness exercises? How to, tune into light, into akasha, and it's you will leave a changed person. It's very, very beautiful. We're going to very, very powerful places to practice out in nature and from the ground up. This is open to people who are currently practicing, but even people who are completely new to it. So if you're interested, you can shoot me a message. If you want more details, you can check out the link in the bio. It's under events, and the actual course is included in that too. And like I said, payment options and stuff like that. I'm willing to work with anybody, for any of it, because it's not all about money. But it's very important that you're invested into yourself, because people who aren't invested in it, they kind of just don't care. So it's very important that you are invested in yourself and there's an exchange of energy and that you seek to develop yourself because that's how you get the highest outcomes, always. So once again, if anybody has any questions, let me know. If you want to join us in Sedona, use the promo code MAGIC and it'll take like $444 off of it. But you also get the course and stuff too. If you're interested in just the course, if you use the promo code MOON, I think it takes like 50% off of it. You get instant access and you can even join the group Zoom meetings starting this weekend because we have 2 group Zoom meetings Sunday and Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And we're doing group practices. We're going up the vibrational scale. And I'll be posting some more content and information on TikTok and in all the different video libraries. I'm going to start using my TikTok to supplement some of the information and stuff that I'm sharing on the course. And that's primarily what I'm going to be doing. I'll be sharing affirmations and prayers and stuff too, but primarily the things that we're experiencing, the things that we're going through and practicing through the Master Key course and through the Kabbalah course. I'll be sharing a lot of that supplemental information and stuff too. And I'm going to start using my TikTok for that primarily. So feel free, drop questions about literally anything whatsoever, and I'll respond with the video response too. But like I said, if you want to develop yourself and have any questions, this is what I'm here for. And we're here because we resonate. I'm sure a lot of you guys, I've been looking into hermetics and the alchemy and the magic, into psychic development and stuff, and that's why we're here. Says, how can you tell if a practitioner is legitimate if you want an Akashic record reading? That's a really good question. So what's funny is I don't think I've ever met anybody who wasn't legitimate. Now everybody has different levels of skill, and there's people who are like beginning psychics who may not have cultivated a really deep, connection through the Akasha and to pull up information and stuff. So this is people are at different levels. There's people who do tarot readings, and they may have a short-term relationship that they're developing, but that doesn't mean that they're not legitimate. They just may not have the bridges of understanding and the higher intuitive bridges set right now. When it comes to, like, for instance, I do Akashic readings, and for anybody who I've ever done an Akashic reading for, you can ask them. I usually do them on live, and everybody. I don't think I've ever had one where, hold on, I don't think I've ever done an Akashic reading where somebody was like, you know what, that doesn't resonate. I have no idea what you're talking about. That's not me. I've never, ever had that. Anytime I've ever done one, it's always like, oh my God, that was amazing. This is exactly what I'm going through. This is exactly what I needed. And here it is, and there's levels to it. The thing about working with different psychics is the level in which that psychic operates, because there's levels to it. Most psychics that you're going to come across are going to be people who are stuck in the astral somewhere. Literally, they're stuck in their astral relationships, and the astral is, once again, the realm of many minds and subjectivity. And these are the people that you're going to come across. They're going to be like, there's a war going on in the astral, and all this negative stuff is happening, and this dualistic type of thing or whatever. And doesn't mean that they're not legitimate. It just means that they're in those lower dualistic, hellish, delusional realms. Whereas the higher frequency mystics and psychics is going to be non-dual. Cool, this is what you need to know about yourself, and this is how this is how you can develop insight and more liberation in your experience. Where they all serve a purpose. Some people want to deal with their astral stuff on that lower level. And the psychics that are on that level, they will tell you very, very directly, oh, this is how you need to do it. Whereas like for me, I'm all non-dual. I'm in between universal light, brotherhood of light, and nirvana. That's where I dwell in, and that's what I work with, and that's what I share, and that's direct insight, direct understanding, and subconscious synchronization. It's not, oh, you have to go through this thing, and this is how you need to fix your love life and everything. And you're not gonna hear that come from me, because those aren't the realms I dwell in. That's not what I specialize in. I'm a teacher, so I teach people to liberate themselves. So there's levels to it. So legitimacy and levels is completely different things. Now, yes, there's charlatans out there that just pretend that, oh, I'm just doing this, but that's few and far between. Most people are just where they're at. And you'll naturally be drawn to the ones that resonate with you. Follow your intuition. There's many people that's connected to light. There's many people that have really deep levels of psychic awareness and intuition. But always follow yours, and you'll be guided to the right person. Just like teachers and gurus and sifus and everything else. When the student's ready, the teacher will appear. And you'll naturally be guided to it, and it's going to feel good. It's going to resonate. And resonance is a really big thing. So follow the things that resonate with you, and that's the path. The things that bring you excitement, and your goals in your life and your destiny is going to manifest through your highest level of excitement always. And mentally, if it seems like a good idea, cool, do it. Astrally, if it feels like a good idea, do it. Physically, you're going to want to do it, and as long as you follow that, you're always going to have a high outcome. But if it's kind of like, oh, I'm forcing myself to do this, or oh, it doesn't feel good, then you're going to be putting yourself in situations that aren't for you. And this applies to everything. So once again, legitimacy, some people are naturally intuitive and naturally psychic. Do they have the intellectual understanding or how to develop it and everything else? Who knows? Some people have that, just who they are and what they do, where other people understand it to a really, really deep level. So there's levels to it. Just follow your intuition, and the more that you are connected infinitely, right, then see the oneness of all. You can see infinite intelligence in all things. The more infinite your experience is going to be, the more people you're connected to, the more you're able to see things from that higher level. But if you're in this lower dualistic judgmental type of viewpoint, then that's how you're going to view things. It's going to be the separation, it's conflict. It's either has to be this or that, and you're going to bring yourself into those lower, more dualistic experiences. Um, so, like I said, be aware, and take things for what they are. Take people for who they are and where they are. And not project. Not project, okay, this is what I think it should be or how it should be, because that's how most people view their life and their reality. But, this is also what causes people, to live in delusion, because they're projecting their belief about what something is and what it should be instead of seeing things as they are. And that's the goal. And that's one of the things that you're developing in higher spiritual practices, is to see things as they are, to develop stillness. So you're not projecting your beliefs, where your beliefs are out the way. You can see things as they are and not what you believe them to be, you know, and that's just a side effect of correct practice. It says, I just joined your Master Key program. Thank you for the promo code. That's what I needed. Awesome. I don't know if the automatic email, if you got it, but shoot me a message. I'll give you all the links and stuff too, because we have an app. We have an app where you can access all the videos. You can access sign up to the Zoom meetings, and it's the easiest way to access everything. You can also go through the website, but you'll also get a link to my book, Alchemy of a Happy Life, and the link to the Discord. And you can check out the link in the bio and sign up for the Discord. But yeah, most definitely, welcome, as everybody else is saying. It's beautiful, and like I said, it's beautiful to have a community to work with, and to grow with. And the more that you can, once again, be willing to see things as they are. Take out your emotional investment and your belief structures from your past experiences and stuff like that, because that's how most people view the world. But to be able to develop a type of equanimity where you can see things as they are, and not what you believe them to be or what your past experiences are, that's how you get the highest outcome. Because we'll never go through the same thing twice. But if you take on as a belief, oh, I've been through something similar, This is what it's going to be. That's what you're going to get. Oh my God, I don't know what somebody sprayed or whatever, but I am choking. I feel like somebody sprayed some pepper spray somewhere around here. But anyway, um, once again, for anybody who's interested, if you would like to join the course, check out the link in the bio. Use the promo code MOON. You get 50% off, instant access. It's year-long access to the video library, to the group Zoom meetings. If you'd like to join us in September for the retreat, if you use the promo code MAGIC, you'll take $444 off of that. Your room is included, food is included, and you will leave a changed person. You'll get the most benefit in the shortest amount of time by doing that, and the course is also included in that. Other than that, I thank you guys for joining me. I hope you all have a very, very blessed and beautiful rest of your day. I might stream later too when I head back home, but I'm going to record some more videos and then do my practice, go head to the temple and stuff. And if you have any questions, you can message me. If you want to set up a payment plan for anything, you can message me or book a one-on-one or a quantum healing session and all that good stuff. But until then, have a very, very blessed and beautiful rest of your day. And I'll see you guys later. Okay. Peace.